I'm going to start where I actually end all of my presentations, and that's with love. And what I'm asking you to do today and every day from here on is to do your work with love. That means you need to talk to donors with love. It means you need to write to donors with love. Everything you need to do from here on out, please, is with love. And the reason why is because I think we've reached a bit of an end. I feel like we've reached a place where we can't keep doing what we've been doing for too long to our donors. That's why you're at this conference. Showing up to your job and checking a box and going home isn't going to cut it anymore. Way back in time, about 2014, there were these 3 small community hospitals in Toronto. You had Humber Memorial, which was downtown. You had York Finch Hospital, which was uptown, up to the west. And then you had the Northwestern General, which was in the east, but was still called Northwestern, and I don't know why, and no one's ever told me. They decided that they were 3 community hospitals, and they were part of this Humber River Hospital Foundation health network. And they were going to launch this $225 million campaign to build this brand new, state-of-the-art, razzle-dazzle, mega, these are not my words, these are their words, hospital. That was their plan. You can cue all the big check photos. Big checks in emails, big checks in newspapers, big checks in mailers, big checks on billboards, big checks on websites, big checks in ads, big checks in everything. Big checks. It became about the big checks. Instantly, their program tanked. The other thing that we play with all the time at Agents of Good is the idea of voice. And we say, like, who's the messenger? Rachel talked about this in her session. You have more than one messenger. It doesn't always have to, please don't make it always your CEO. You have more voices available to you than that. So we started there, who would be the right voice in this messenger in this pack? So who at all these lovely small community hospitals, and of course this brand new bazillion-dollar technical wonder of a new hospital, who would be witness to all the drama, the happiness, the sadness, big and small moments? We kept asking ourselves, who would be the person who would have that perspective? Well, I can tell you that it was the H, obviously. The H on the side of the hospital, it sees everything. Every person, everything that happens in those walls, it is privy to. It's all seeing, all knowing. So in this case, Humber River had this plus sign as part of their logo. Don't worry, I'm getting there. I'm getting to the point, I promise. And we wanted to give a bit of personality to this new voice. And hello, this is my friend Humbert. So get it, it's Humber with a little T, Humbert. Yeah, people pay me a lot of money to be this creative. It's not that difficult sometimes. I know. Well, I can tell you first things first, marketing, comms, and branding were like, not a chance. As a fundraising creative, my joke has always been that, unfortunately, it seems like marketing, comms, and branding departments are where unicorns and rainbows and good ideas go to die. So when I went back and actually looked at Jen's letter, which I sometimes do reflectively or at the time, and I wanted to sort of see for this presentation, what does it look like here? Well, with Jen's letter, right here, we had the problem. And then Jen, when she wrote the letter, the solution was right there too. And what we need the donor to do was right also in there. And then the urgency was right on top of it. So she, as a writer, had jammed all these things right into this small space. But what we did was we wrapped the donor's story around it. I mention all this because, like I said, we had dinner with Stephen Screen last night, which was amazing. Had such a nice dinner with him. There are very little, and when I say very little, there are actually pretty much no definitives in this work. Someone could say, if you do X, Y, and Z, this will be the outcome. If they tell you that, they are lying to you. There are very few definitives in this work. There are many different ways to do this work, and that's what I'm trying to get across to you. There's an art and science to direct response. You have to acknowledge that, again, there are barely any straight lines. There's no one way to do anything. You cannot measure the ROI of these things. This is how this pack did. We had 3 or 4 of these filled around the hospital. So as these patients came back to this hospital or came to the hospital for the very first time, they were seeing all these beautiful messages to them, about them, maybe from them. These donors are not having a transactional exchange with the charity. You can tell from the messages alone, this is something much more meaningful than that. And they're writing to a heart, like to a paper heart. It's unbelievable. And unfortunately for us, Stephanie, who was the person who brought us in the first place, she was really our internal champion. Like a lot of stuff that I do, or Jen and I do, or Rach does, a lot of the people who do really good work, we need champions. Like we need people like you who are working at the charities, who understand you come to our sessions, you see these things, and you just go, you know what, this feels really scary. We gotta try it. We know we need to try it, and there's trust. We trust each other. We trust each other to try it. And Stephanie left for lots of reasons. And that made our lives really, really difficult because as soon as she left, we lost our champion. We lost the ability to do some of these things. And the fear kicked back in. The fear from the professionals at this very amazing razzle-dazzle hospital were not comfortable having these kinds of conversations in something like direct mail with donors. It breaks my heart, honestly. And eventually, Brenning and marketing, they just killed him. They killed Humbert. Yes, doesn't exist. I know. So he lives on my shelf at home in Ontario. That's hi Humbert.